This is Twit.
This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used iPhone, iPad, and other Apple products are worth at gazelle.com. Welcome to iFive for the iPhone, episode 148. iFive covers the latest iPhone apps, tips, and tricks, and of course, news. I am Megan Morrone. Let's get right to the good stuff. Number 1, last week, Facebook announced a new standalone photo sharing app for iOS called Moments. Now, you might be asking yourself, why does Facebook need an app to help you share photos? Facebook is sort of designed for sharing photos. Yes, if you want every one of your Facebook friends to see the photo. Sure, you can limit your Facebook posts to groups or share photos through Facebook Messenger, but Facebook Moments simplifies this. So let's say you were at a wedding and you want to share all the photos you took with the people who are in the photos. Some people do that via Instagram with a clever hashtag such as hashtag Penelope and Dax get hitched. But I'm not a fan of this unless I was at the wedding or care about Penelope and Dax. Through Facebook Moments, you can sync the photos only with the people who care. I've used this app for about a week, and so far it works exactly as promised. If you're a parent and you take a lot of photos at school or sporting events, this might be really useful. Some parents don't want their kids' pictures on Facebook, but that doesn't mean they don't want to see your pictures of their darling kids that you took, especially because your camera was in their face obstructing their view during last week's ballet recital. Here's where I put on my tinfoil hat to discuss the privacy issues of using Facebook Moments. Now, even though you're not sharing these photos publicly, letting Facebook scan your camera roll means you're sharing those photos with Facebook, and they are scanning them, and they are maybe adding them to their huge database of what they call face prints that are part of their facial recognition algorithm. Now, this is that murky area of usefulness versus privacy. Facebook Moments uses facial recognition to scan our photos and recognize the photos of our friends, or in the case I just mentioned, the kids of our friends. Now, some people have a real issue with this. In fact, Facebook Moments isn't even going to be released in Europe because they have stricter facial recognition laws than we do here in the US. So it's a good idea to ask your friends first if they mind you sharing their photos through Facebook Moments. The app itself could not possibly be easier to use. It makes suggestions and you can choose the photos to share with your friends. If your friend doesn't have the app, they'll be invited to download it. Nice social engineering, Facebook. That's another negative feature of the app. In order for your friends to see the pictures, they have to download Facebook Moments too, and some people don't like being an app pusher. I get that. Facebook Moments is free in the App Store. Number 2, have you tried Spotify Running yet? If you're a runner, or you want to be, Spotify has a new feature that I think is worth trying, especially if you're already a Spotify user. Spotify Running determines your pace and then plays music with a tempo to match. Now, I run 3 or 4 times a week with a very complicated and intricate playlist of music and podcasts designed to keep me running, even though I would much rather be sitting on the couch watching season 2 of True Detective. Here's how to use Spotify Running. First, you need Spotify. The app is free, and you can subscribe to the service for $9.99 a month to listen to ad-free music and download any song in their catalog. You can also use Spotify Running on the free tier of Spotify. You choose from playlists of instrumental music designed for running, Lock the Flow, which bills itself as shimmering electronic beats, Epic, which is powerful cinematic music, The Chase, if you want to pretend like you're in an action movie while you run. You can also choose curated playlists designed for runners. You start running, and then Spotify uses your phone sensors to figure out your steps per minute. Then you'll hear songs from the instrumental playlists, or you can choose from the genre playlists, and the beats per minute of the song will match the steps per minute that you run.
Start running to detect tempo.
It's a great idea, and there is scientific research that says certain music will help you keep running. However, I also like running to music that's familiar to me, so I had some trouble with the instrumental playlists and with a lot of the genre playlists. The only station I really liked was Throwback Hits, and even then, I used up my ability to skip songs because I don't pay for Spotify.
New tempo, 190 steps per minute.
So I like Spotify Running, but until I'm allowed to listen to the music from the playlists that I created, or at least listen to the music that Spotify knows I like based on the music I've listened to before, this probably won't completely replace my intricate playlists of podcasts and my music. Number 3, for a few weeks, we've been discussing the advantages and disadvantages of enabling Siri on the lock screen. Here's a review. To enable or disable Siri on the lock screen, go to Settings, tap Touch ID and Passcode, and enter your passcode. Scroll down to Allow Access when locked and slide the slider to green if you do want to allow access to Siri when your iPhone is locked. If you do this, then someone could get access to your personal information and use it for nefarious purposes. Now, last week I pointed out that Siri on the lock screen could also be used for good. If you find a lost phone, you can ask Siri who owns this iPhone, and if Siri is enabled on the lock screen, you can be a good Samaritan and use that information to try to return the phone. This week, I got an email from Jamie from Schnecksville, Pennsylvania. That's an hour north of Philly, in case you were curious. Jamie writes, I tested my iPhone 6 and asked Siri who owns it. It did answer correctly. However, to my dismay, it brought up my entire entry in my context, including my notes, which might contain sensitive information. Now, if someone isn't going to disable Siri on the lock screen, they should know not to put any sensitive information in their own entry in context. Good tip, Jamie. Also, let's hope that if someone was using this power for good to return your phone, they would also be kind enough to ignore your notes that contained sensitive information. This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Gazelle. If you're interested in helping support this podcast, we don't ask for money, but we do ask that you consider using our sponsors if their service appeals to you. Gazelle is a regular sponsor of iFive, and it makes sense because we are the kinds of people who like to upgrade our phones a lot, and we like to get a good deal on phones that are like new. You can buy certified pre-owned iPhones and iPads directly from Gazelle. If you've lost or broken your phone, a certified pre-owned device is a great way to buy a low-cost replacement device. Gazelle still offers great deals on trade-ins for your old device. Visit Gazelle.com to see what devices are available from Gazelle in certified pre-owned condition. If Gazelle buys your phone, you'll get paid in cash. Payment is fast within a few days of your item being received. Gazelle will also wipe your data for free. Shipping is free, and most items qualify for a free box. What is your iPhone worth? Go to Gazelle.com to find out. Number 4, last week the California Labor Commission classified Uber drivers as employees, not independent contractors. Uber claims that they are simply a technology platform, and as such, they should not be required to pay health insurance, workers' compensation, vacation benefits, sick days, or the costs of gas and parking. You know, basic rights that any full-time employee deserves. This is going to be a long legal mess that will be decided state by state and then country by country. Uber is appealing the ruling in California. Now, some suspect that the end game for the company is going to be cars that transport people through self-driving technology. So basically, they're just waiting it out until they don't have to deal with human employees at all. Until then, they hope that no one's paying attention, and instead of giving employees health benefits, they've provided them with this free game that will help teach you how to be an Uber driver in San Francisco. I downloaded it, not because I want to be an Uber driver. I let my license expire when I lived in San Francisco. That's how much I disliked driving in the city. But I tried the game anyway. I guess it's designed to recruit new drivers, or partners, as they call them. But I do hope this is not how Uber partners learn how to drive in the city, because it's not at all like the game. The game is pretty simple. Just tap on the map to get to a certain destination. You want to enter the surge pricing areas to get more money to buy fancier cars so you can charge people more, presumably so you can pay for your own health insurance. The game is pretty simple and not that much fun, to be honest. But if you want to get to know the city, I guess it helps. And you can sign up to be a partner, right in the app itself, which is free. Number 5. Speaking of driving, in episode 144, I recommended an app called AT&T Drive Mode. I use it to remind me not to look at my phone while I'm driving. With this free app, every time I travel 15 miles per hour, it brings up a screen that has a picture of my children and says it can wait. You can designate it to let you use a navigation app and a music app, but that's it. Now, I like the AT&T Drive Mode. It's pretty simple and free solution to the problem of my brain turning off when I'm at a stoplight and I forget that it's dangerous to check my phone. This week, I got an email from Angela who said I was very interested in the app. Sounded like a great idea, except it will not allow my phone to broadcast podcasts through my car radio when it's on. I can listen to Pandora, my music, and use maps, but no podcasts, not even with a native app. I thought you would like to know. I would like to know, Angela, because the app did allow me to listen to podcasts. Believe me, I would never recommend an app if I thought it would come between you and your podcasts. What I realized is that I am an old-fashioned person when it comes to cars. Not only do I not have any sort of dashboard entertainment system like Apple's CarPlay or Android Auto, which does everything this app does and a lot more, my car isn't even equipped with Bluetooth. I hook my phone up to the car's auxiliary cable, which lets me listen to podcasts when I use this app. Does anyone else out there have a recommendation for Angela? Another app that will turn off your phone while you're driving but still lets you listen to podcasts? If so, you can email me at megan@twit.tv. In fact, if you have any recommendations for using your iPhone for summer road trip entertainment, email me about those too. I am planning a future episode. My address is megan@twit.tv. And that does it for this episode. Thanks for stopping by. All of the apps, links, and other info from the show can be found at twit.tv/iFive. You can email questions or general feedback to iFive@twit.tv or leave us a voicemail at 614-ON-IFIVE. I am Megan Morrone. We'll see you next week on iFive for the iPhone.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.